Welcome everybody, Derek Sue, your 2022 Oakland mayoral candidate. Today, and actually all this week, I'm going to be here at the Rangers camp. If you've been following what's been happening over here, the city of Oakland has decided that they're going to close a portion of this camp on October 31st, which is Thursday. And this came as short notice. Nothing, no notice it was coming down. All of a sudden it appeared in a camp cleanup listing and it said closure. And so I had Candace alerted me to what was going on, and we got confirmation that it is not a full camp closure, but it is a partial closure. Everybody in front of the driveway or across the driveway from the business behind me here, all of those folks are going to lose their housing. And so right now what ends up happening, we're invoking the Boise versus Martin court case, where the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco ruled that it was inhumane to take a person from their shelter, even though it's on the street, and give them nothing, fully take it away and displace them. So these folks, there's 15 people that are going to be displaced by the action because of this business. And the business has always been very hostile to the homeless community here from the get-go. When I was the founder here and I lived here, the business that was here before the recycler was very friendly to the homeless, and they helped us out immensely, and it was reciprocal. I did protective work for their trailer chassis that were parked out here, and then also kept graffiti artists from marking up their buildings and things happening in their driveways. So it was a very reciprocal and a good neighbor situation. But when Lance and his wife Ann took over this building a couple years ago, they weren't very friendly to the homeless from the get-go, but yet they knew we were here, and they made it clear from before they even signed the lease that they were going to do everything possible to get rid of my particular camp. And then after city did sanction my camp, then the city pretty much ignored Lance and Ann was very hostile. In fact, this business has been very hostile to the encampment here from the day they signed the lease. And they've been trying to move this camp out. They've staged all sorts of letters and emails to the city. They came out and harassed and I actually even had to tell her to calm her tone down because, number one, of the neighborhood that she's in, and the way that she was screaming and using the slurs that she was using, I told her that was going to get her killed. And out here, this is East Oakland. This is because their business was originally situated in the Jack London Square area, and so a whole different environment of clientele, plus the homeless are different folks than the Jack London Chinatown area. Over here, there's a lot of violence in this neighborhood, and the way she was using slurs and innuendo was not very good for anybody. And even with that, the camp here has had the two dogs actually run over by the people here at Lakeside Metals. So I want you to be aware, I actually witnessed that. And yes, it was the fault of the residents for the most part for not having their dogs on leashes, but then clearly not stopping is another violation also. So they're not saints or angels in this by any means. So I want folks to be aware. that we're invoking the Boise versus Martin court case to force the stop closure of 77th Ave Rangers camp, even though it's a partial. There's nowhere to relocate these folks. And so the city is required by and mandated by law to find a shelter bed for each individual that is requesting a shelter bed. I, working for Alameda Health Systems and a co-applicant board member for the homeless, I will be representing each and every displaced resident here and make sure that there is, in fact, a bed waiting for them when the city says that there's a bed. So the city has a historic track record of lying to the media at all opportunities, and they always say that shelter beds were offered when in fact no shelter beds were offered, and in fact we know that there aren't any shelter beds. So that's a big problem too. We have a few residents that the city may be able to move down to an RV park down the street on 71st if there's any openings. But again, the city needs to confirm that, let me know, and then I'll confirm that the opening is there. And then once I verify that everybody has been offered beds, whether they accept it or not accept it is not an issue. That's up to the individual. I can't force them to take that bed, but I can force the city to, at the minimum, offer that bed that's required and mandated by federal law now. So we're going to be here all week. We're going to see how this plays out. Tomorrow I'm going to be recording this also, and Talia Rubin, who is from the city of Oakland, will be down here, and she says that she's coming down here to see what needs to be moved off the area in front of the driveway of Lakeside Metals. So that means we're going to relocate some porta potties or have them relocated, and then I'm going to be bringing up the topic that there's going to be 15 people being displaced, and you need to find housing for them before this happens on Thursday. If it doesn't happen and you still move forward, we will be filing an injunction to stop this closure. So fight's not done yet. Stay tuned. We're just getting started.